Alright, so we did a cursory cleaning, and that's good for in-between coats or in-between projects. But if you're going to set the gun aside for, you know, a day or two or a week, you want to do a little bit deeper cleaning. Make sure you got everything out of there. So it's real simple. Basically, you're going to take the gun apart again. The air cap ring, the air cap come off. The air cap's one of the most important parts to keep clean because these little holes are what direct the air to create the air jacket. So one of the tools that comes in the cleaning kit are these little wire pokers. And these are a little bit flexible, and you need that flexibility because these holes are actually kind of turn a corner in there. So you want to poke through there and make sure that you're getting all the dried material out of those holes. Doesn't take long. Just drop that like that, poke in through the back, through the front. That's looking pretty good. And then I'm just going to drop that down into my bucket of water and let it soak. Now, you won't find any paint usually on the air diverter, so I'm not worried about that. But I am going to remove the nozzle, because again, that's a part that you definitely want to keep clean. And you can get some residue paint that's actually trapped inside the hole. Now you see what happened here. While I was doing that, that little washer came off. You want to make sure you don't lose that washer. That's an important part of the system. I always try and keep it right there with the nozzle. Now again, my pokers are a good thing to use here because you can go right through the front of the nozzle, and now you're sure that there's nothing stuck in there. Now at this point, I'm also going to drop this down into my water. And now I'm going to pull the needle out. Don't forget that spring. That's an important part to remember. Pull the needle out. Now you can see that there's a little bit of paint on the front end of that needle. Well, there's nothing to getting that off. It's stainless steel. It's going to come right off. So now that needle is clean. I'm going to take my parts here out of the water that have been soaking and dry them off. Get my air cap. And we're going to put the gun back together, but we're going to do a little maintenance too while we've got the gun apart. Now I don't necessarily do this every time I clean, but I'll do it every second or third time I clean for sure. We provide a little bit of grease here in the spray cleaning kit. This grease is mineral oil based, which is really what you want to use. And there's just a tiny bit of grease in there. This grease is really for the threaded parts and the needle, and I'm going to show you what I mean. When these two parts come together, if there's moisture in here, this can oxidize and it can make it difficult to use the threaded area. Just put a little bit of grease on your finger and wipe it into that threaded area. Just a little bit. Doesn't take much. You really don't want to use too much because if it gets into your finish, that can cause problems too. Same thing on the back here. I'm going to use a little bit of grease on the flow control knob, and that's going to make it nice and smooth as you screw it in. Now here's a trick not everybody will tell you. You want to take your needle and you want to coat the end of the needle with a little bit of grease. Mineral oil works, baby oil, anything that's mineral oil based will work, and the grease we provide you is mineral oil based. So I'm just putting a light coating on there. It's not enough to really even see, but I do want to make sure the whole needle gets coated from the barrel here on out. The reason you want to do that is that when you slide the needle back into the gun, it's going to go through the gland seal here. That oil or grease will all catch on the gland seal and keep it fresh for a much longer period of time. So now we're just going to put the gun back together. My nozzle, I'm going to tighten that down slightly. The diverter, air cap, the air cap ring. Now I'm going to slide my needle in the back. Remember, as I do this, that grease is all going to catch on the gland seal there and keep it fresh. Put your spring on, screw in your flow control knob. That's it. That's a deep cleaning. Now you're ready for your next project.